to
teatalk.
Yeah, they're starting to get the vibe. You guys have done a few with me now. You're like, she always throws it our way. Although we have a brand new person that hasn't been with us before. So actually, I'm going to put her in the spot and we're going to go down the line. I'll say I'm NikkiPhillippi. Hello.
I'm Nia. Hello.
Oh, we got Nia. Nia is actually Tana's sister. So we've got two tanned goddesses is what I was calling them. And then the really, we'll call us fair-skinned beauties. That's what we'll call us that rather than pale or pasty. We'll be fair-skinned beauties. Okay, yeah, so we have Nia.
And Madison Miller.
I'm Tana. I'm sorry.
No, it's me. I'm just
Tana.
making sound effects. But you're Tana what?
Tana Montana.
Yeah.
So here we are today.
I feel like I'm pretty hyped right now for some reason. Like
we had a lot of tea before this.
Now we're on to more tea. What else could one want? Speaking of tea, so today, this is going to be, you guys will see, even though the goal is to try out new tea every single time, I can't help it but have a fallback because A, I have to do a certain amount of searching for new tea. It takes some effort. And B, I just love this stuff so much. This is by the brand Paradise. It's the original Paradise Tropical Tea. And I buy it in huge restaurant bags like this. Do you like it?
Actually, it's really good.
It's black tea, right?
It's black tea, yeah.
It's so interesting.
I actually contacted the company because it says they're blended with tropical fruit flavors. And it does say on the front, artificially flavored. But when I contacted the company, I think the guy thought it was crazy. I was like, well, what does it mean? He was like, I don't know, but I feel like it's natural. And so I was like, how do you not know? You're the company.
Yeah,
that's a bash, you guys. But I was like, what's going on?
This is your classic tea that you always drink, right?
Yeah, 8 years, which is why I freaked out and emailed the company because I was like, what if I've been drinking something crazy for the last 8 years?
Oh.
But they didn't know.
Where do you get it at? Because it's so good.
You have to order it off of Amazon because it's only sold at It's a Grind, which is a coffee tea shop.
Yeah.
Like a Starbucks. And then you can only get it at restaurants. So California, Cheesecake Factory carries it as their iced tea.
Very interesting.
Oh,
That's so
random.
Yeah.
Isn't that random? Or if you guys have a Rattlers or a Stonefire, I don't know how many chains there are of that. They carry that tea, but other than that, I have to order it off Amazon in restaurants.
I remember we went to Stonefire for that lunch and you got so excited because she discovered that they had her tea.
That was our first time with Lon as friends, was at Stonefire, and I did get really excited about my tea. So, anyways, tea blabber. I'm very excited about the tea, yes, but I'm also excited about the topic today. We got so many questions, and the topic is life after school and just careers in general and what that looks like. I feel like we all have very different backgrounds. Yes. We're different ages, and this is going to be really interesting.
Should we kind of talk about what age we are?
Oh, that's a good idea.
What phase we are in our life, what we have done.
That's a great idea. I am 29. And I have been married for 8 years. I like how I took the reins, by the way, but it's whatever. I'm like, yes. Great. But yeah, I'm 29, been married for 8 years. I've been working in some form of entertainment. I taught dance for 5 years, did theme parks and theater, and now YouTube.
And you were also homeschooled.
And I was homeschooled, yes. And I did not go to college. That's probably an important part after this.
Yeah.
I did concurrent enrollment in school, so it's part of how I graduated early. So I started taking college classes when I was 14 because one semester in college counts as a year in high school because they condense so much into a semester.
Oh, yeah.
So it's called concurrent enrollment, and if you test into the classes, they'll let you take as a high schooler. So I took college classes from 14 to 16. I almost got an AA. And my this is actually really sad. Whenever I tell people, I'm like, should I be embarrassed of this? I almost got an AA, and I almost got a diploma, but I technically just took the test and left. I took the high school exit exam. So I don't technically have a high school diploma or a college degree, nothing, on paper. So that's my education, or lack thereof. Moving along.
Well, I went to high school, got a high school diploma.
Good for you, Tana. Dana's laughing so hard behind the camera. Dana's a high school diploma too. I'm going to venture to say everyone in this building has a high school diploma. But go on.
So then I went to college, and I have a degree in marketing.
Oh, you do? Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, definitely. So I definitely recommend college, but not just for learning, just for living and being a good person. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so pretty much typical, I guess. But now, I guess, what is the question again?
Yeah, just your history.
Oh,
so that when we dive into questions, people know
and
where
then
it came
for me, I am 27 years old, have a high school diploma, and then I also went to college for 5 years, and then I got a child and adolescent development degree, and then I also went and got extra credentials at UC Irvine after that for teaching. And yeah, that was my experience.
I can't believe you were in college for 5 years.
I know. I had a lot of fun.
That's so cool. How long?
Well, actually 6 years total if you include my credentials after that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How long were you in school? Were you like the 4, like the 2 years of an AA, 2 years bachelor?
Yeah. But I also forgot because I did international baccalaureate in high school. It's like,
what is that?
Yeah. So it's like this program where they have these. It's kind of like AP, but it's an international program. So you kind of take the same classes as other people, but they're honors sort of, and you get college credit for those classes.
Oh, so it's like a system, like just like you said, an AP system, but it's an international standard.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and you take like tests at the end of the school year. Like you take 2 years of each type of class, so like history and math and science and English, and you take 2 years with the same teacher. So they feel that that's better to get with the same teacher because they can kind of take those values that they've instilled in you the first year and bring it to you another time. Because I feel like having a teacher for 1 year, it's not enough.
Yeah, it's too quick
It's
in
very
a sense
quick.
because
That's
the teachers are always having to accommodate to
learning style.
Yeah, the learning styles of their students, and this way it just like gets them already like they just build this relationship and they can learn so much more.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Like I feel like that's a huge part of it. Just
that's with the Montessori. That's how we love it because I would have kids in my classroom for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
awesome.
Yeah, so you kind of grow with them.
That's
Totally.
cool.
No, it's great.
I know them. Yeah.
Okay, so what about you? What's your background?
So I'm 20. I finished high school.
Yeah, you got a diploma. Round of applause.
And I just did 1 year in college, and then I'm still kind of just like.
Because you just
trying
wrapped
to
a year,
find
but you're
out.
still so you're still in college.
Well, like
Trying to figure it
taking
out.
a break.
Kind of. I'm just taking a break.
Like
I
on a
don't-
little hiatus for a year.
Yeah. I don't really
Cool.
know what I want to do yet.
Yeah.
Were you in
It's
school
not
getting
that
just like your general credits?
Yeah. Well, I was like
But you wanted
majoring
to
in
be,
secondary education.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to be a teacher, but
Yeah.
You've changed your mind.
Yeah.
Changes.
Since
does.
changed my mind.
Yeah.
I just realized that 3 out of 4 people on this
Stripes.
I am
show
so
are wearing stripes.
Oh yeah, stripes, and then I'm very bright.
We did one episode where every single person was in black and white stripes, and we were like, prison squad!
Oh my God.
It's not funny, actually, but it looked like it. So, interesting. That was a good idea to kind of give everyone's perspective so everybody knows
Like
where
what
we're
our
coming
background
from.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, should I just pick a question and we'll just bounce around? This person, at Flutist Tiffany, says, when in your life did you finally feel like an adult? Or does that even happen? I think that's a really interesting question. Followed by, ha 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 ha. And a smiley face. That's really interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Who wants to take that away?
Okay, I guess, well, for me, because I always, like, when I was a kid, I always wanted to grow up. I wanted to be an adult. And so the thing is, it's like, I realized, though, that, like, when I grew up or turned 18 or now I'm 23, I think it's just thinking that you're an adult. That's it. That's literally, you just have to say, I'm an adult. Like, I used to call myself a girl, which is, okay, I used to call myself a girl, and then I'm like, okay, no, I'm a woman. Like, I need to say that about
Such a
myself.
good,
And that's how you
just
get
said,
to
I
it.
love it.
That's literally it. It's not this change that happens. It's how you classify yourself, really.
Yeah.
So
That was such a brilliant answer because I feel the same way where I've never felt like an adult. And it's weird when I look at my stats on paper. It's like, dude, I make money, I'm married, I am like living on my own, it's fine. But like, it's the same thing. I feel like I've called myself a woman a few times recently and it feels very foreign.
yeah,
and weird. It's
like,
like,
get used to it. I'm like, wait,
I'm not a woman. Like,
no, I'm not an adult. Someone's gonna call me out
Or
of
when
that,
like
but you
people say
are.
ma'am to you at like.
oh god. I'm not a ma'am. But you are a ma'am, Madison. You're a ma'am. That's so funny. What about you? Have you ever felt like an adult, or do you still feel like
You
a
know,
kid?
since I'm 20 now, I feel more like an adult than I was at like 18.
Yeah.
But like people always think I'm older, so they already call me like, oh, how come you haven't done more?
They call you
You
ma'am.
know, but I'm
Oh,
still
wow.
young, and I have to explain like, you know, I'm a young woman.
Yeah.
You know, even though
You're a
I'm a
young
woman.
woman.
Young adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
really
for
interesting.
me, with kind of feeling like the adult was kind of, I didn't really feel like an adult in college in a sense because my parents paid for everything. I didn't have a job. I just did school. And I think when I felt like an adult is when I got done with college, I moved out on my own. I was paying my own bills and had a career.
Okay, yeah.
That's a good point. It's interesting. I feel like another like morph for that, I guess just piggybacking off of your thought, is like literally, and I know we have this in common, I've been working since I was 14. Like, I've just kind of worked forever, and my parents weaned me off stuff really fast. Like, great, you're working. We're not paying for your clothes anymore. Like, time to pay for your own cell phone. You're going to start buying your own food. Like, they weaned me off so fast.
And that's so vital, because I feel like there's some parents that just want to keep paying for stuff, and it doesn't allow the child to grow and learn from any mistakes that they might make, and it doesn't allow them to grow and become an independent adult, and it makes them always dependent on you.
I know. It's interesting because, like,
that parents need to do.
Sometimes I'll think back on it, and part of me feels like, dang, that was young. Like, that is young to rip that from a kid. But then on the other hand, I see how I've turned out in life, and like, I remember going through things and just being so much more aware and realistic of like how the world functioned than my friends did. So even though part of me feels like that was so young, like, they took that from me, but then part of me is like, dude, but I feel like it's also made me the person that I am.
It's so true.
I wasn't like kicked out onto the streets. Like,
you had to pay for your
and they were still like paying for like dance lessons and like all these other things.
Kind of like taught you to monitor. That's what my parents did. Like, they did pay for my stuff for college, but they gave me an allowance. So if my mom would be like, "You're only getting this much money for this amount of weeks, make it work." So it made me to like. I learned how to add up all the prices when I would go grocery shopping. I could be like, "This is how much it's going to be."
Because you didn't have unlimited access.
Funds.
Exactly. So it kind of taught me how to budget things for when I was going to leave college.
Totally. And I feel like, well, for me and her, we're sisters, and like our mom, I mean, we got jobs when I got a job when I was 16. And so we both started working whenever. And not because our mom told us to get a job, but just because we were like, hey, I want to buy this, and how do I do that? We didn't even think to go to our mom and ask.
Women.
So it's just, I feel like, definitely, I know people that like get a lot of things handed to them, and it's just hard because you want to help out your kid. But like, it's such a tough line to draw, but I don't know.
Like, even my best friend, like, her mother kind of does everything for her, and she's different than I am now because of that, but, you know, I feel happier just, like, working for it.
Like, we're
it's good
now.
to work for it, you know.
You feel really accomplished.
Also,
it made me laugh for some reason when you were talking, and you're like, you know, we're sisters. You're
you're
sisters. Well, it was I don't know why we like we're sisters.
Funny.
Yeah, we are. I don't know why we are. Wow. Anyway,
Sydney Renee 209 says, "How do you decide what you want to major in?" And then she says a bunch of other stuff. For me, at first I didn't know what I wanted to do going into college, but then I was like, what's something that I know I can handle? Like, what's something that I can adapt to easily? What's something that I kind of like, but, you know, I'm not really sure, but it's something that you can start with. And so if you just start with something that you're like, okay, I kind of like this. I mean, no one knows for sure. Like, even when they finish, they don't even like what they did.
Half the time, I think the average person will go through 3 to 4 different majors before the time that they graduated. It's pretty crazy in the college statistics route. And that's why general education is so vital, because when you first start college, you are going to have to do your GEs first. So it's basically everything that everyone has to go through. And you use that to kind of figure out, all right, what route do I want to go in?
And finding your path. Because I mean, I started out as a political science major.
I
don't really know what I was doing there, but I didn't really like it. So I mean, you're just gonna find the things that you want to do. But also, what I say to people, like, a lot of times, because I guess entering into college, I seemed very sure, and even though I changed my major, it was okay that I did later on, because I went in so sure that people were like, "Wow, how is she so sure?" But I'm like, I'm really not, but this is what I think at the time, so it has to be right. And
you can just find your knack in a sense.
Definitely.
I went from poli-sci, and then I had a teacher that was very biased, and it just made me so mad.
You mean like politically one way or the other?
Oh yeah, so he was extremely liberal, and I don't care what side you're on, but he would basically only portray one side of everything.
Because he felt you weren't getting full education.
As a teacher, you should be able to teach and people not know what side you're portraying.
Or be able to give both perspectives, like why each party believes what they believe.
So I stopped going to that class and just I was done with this guy. And then I switched from poli-sci to business, and then I was like, oh, business terms are going over my head.
Which is funny because you're such a little entrepreneur and you're such a hustler.
And it's so weird because I was like doing business classes and I was just like trying, oh my god, economics. I'd be reading a chapter and I'm like, don't know what I'm reading.
It's so funny because I feel like all the real world application of that stuff is so different. Like, my degree was in marketing, but it was in the business school, and so it's like, I had to learn economics and statistics, but I don't use that. It's more, I don't know, I feel like business is about putting terms that you already know into, like, telling it what it is. I guess that's kind of what college is. Like, you find out what why does a sentence formed, why is a sentence formed like that, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely.
It's not good.
That's it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? You go ahead.
So for me, after business, I was like, okay, this is going over. And then I went psychology, and then I was going to be a psychologist, and I figured out, I'm going to have to go get a master's or a PhD after this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I really don't want to do that much more schooling. And then I switched, and everyone told me that you need to be a teacher. I had so many parents that I was friends with telling me that, because they're like, just the way that you are with kids, you need to be a teacher. So I was like, I'm going to be a teacher, switch to child development.
This question is from Jam K Beauty, and she asks, if I'm interested...
Oh, I love her.
You know her?
Or their account. They're always so sweet. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah. So if I'm interested in filming and editing, basically everything with YouTube, what do you think would be a good career to pursue after college that relates to all that?
So aside from just being a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, anything in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Or at a marketing advertising agency.
Totally. This question is from SantaBria_AB, and she said, how do you stay motivated through college when life is coming at you hard? #I'm stressing. Wow.
Great.
I'm sure every college
how do you
student,
get through college?
Yeah.
When life is coming at you hard.
Like, how do you stay motivated to get through? Yeah, see, that's the thing. You just have to, I think it's one of those things. What?
I'm just sighing. No, I'm sorry. I'm just sighing because I'm like, does it ever stop coming at you hard? Is my question, or is it just like, welcome to adulthood?
There's always going to be obstacles.
You should realize that it's never going to stop, so deal with the chaos and just know that that's what it's going to be like. So you need to learn to adapt and, just be able to work through hard times, because I think that's the big lesson of college, that life is going to be like that. So maybe you're just experiencing life for the first time.
Not everything is going to work out, and that's the thing is it's really going to challenge you as a person to see what you can handle and what you can't handle, and that's the thing is you just got to push on and just keep going and just keep your goals. That's another big thing is write down your goals and your passions in life and what you want to achieve, and then just set those goals, and that will keep you motivated because you're like, I've got to work towards this.
And they literally don't even have to be big goals. Literally mine, before I went to college, I was just like, I want to go to college. Yeah. I'm going to go.
And that is a big goal, though.
So, but I guess people feel like, I feel like sometimes people try to set specific goals, maybe, and it doesn't have to be like, I agree. I don't know. It could just be as simple as that, and anything in between, you're going to figure it out because you're going to do it.
Because you don't want to be paralyzed. I feel like people say, it needs to be specific, and I've been very bad at being specific in a lot of areas of my life, but, just because I can't right now, first off, I feel like that's a developmental task on my part that's just going to have to develop. But second off, I feel like just setting something at least keeps you moving versus just being paralyzed and being like, I have no idea what to do.
What if you couldn't think of a specific enough goal? Are you just going to have no goal?
That's exactly
whatever goal you can think of.
That's kind of what I did. I went
ignore it. We got
I went into school thinking this is just going to be so easy. I didn't set any goals. I didn't really realize that I was going to have to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just went thinking this is going to be so easy. Everyone's doing this. I thought this is so easy. People I know have done it. How I can do this, but everyone's different. You do need to set the goals because that's what's going to get you to go the next day and the next, to complete.
Because it's so interesting because you had confidence and people tell you have confidence, but I didn't have confidence. I was like, I don't know. All my teachers were like, I don't know. You guys are gonna make it in college. Can you write those papers? But it's then I took that to heart. And I was like, I don't know. Do they think I can't do it? So I was like, okay, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna do it. But you're like, oh, it's gonna be easy. And
no big deal.
That's very interesting.
On a response that was hysterical is I was that way with marriage. I thought marriage takes a lot of work, and it does take work. But I was very I feel like a lot of people are very about it, and I was very realistic. This is what I'm walking into. It's going to be hard to be married to another person, and honestly, it's turned out to be much easier than what I thought because I was so freaked out. The first year was definitely our hardest, but I was. Anyways, back to the actual topic though. What we were saying about being an adult and being stressed is I feel like a lot of people talk about being an adult, and it used to really bug me. They'd be like, "Oh, welcome to adulthood," and really painted as I want to be a kid again, like the childhood days, and it would make me mad.
It makes you mad too.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah,
you're only like that if you aren't. I would think. Oh, it's only like that if you're not doing something you love. If you're stuck in something you don't love. And I started to realize, I'm like, oh, like, no, that's not really true, because I do what I love. I do what I love. And I just realized that the reason being an adult is difficult, even though there are so many great things that come with it, is because it really is like you are responsible for yourself. Yeah. So it's like when you can't really make excuses, you can try, but it's like, how far are they going to get you? Yeah. And it is a little, so in that sense, it is a little bit hard. It is a little bit sad, but it's also like so exciting to be able to build your life and to have these goals and to be like, what am I going to make? What kind of relationships do I want? What kind of work goals do I want? Like, it's cool. Yeah, who do I want to be?
Yeah, growing up, like, you have to think of that, you know, not the negative things people say. You're hearing people say all the time, this is horrible, like, it's gonna be so rough. Yeah. Like, for me, even getting older, I can't wait to be old, because I know that there's so much. Like, you don't have to think of the negative.
And wisdom that comes with it. Yeah. And the other thing I think, on a side note, this is, I fall down the rabbit hole. The other reason I think people talk about being an adult as being so hard is because I also just realized the longer amount of time you're on the planet, you also just go through more hardships. Like, people start dying, people lose jobs. Like, I think that, but it's like, there's just like, I just took it to a really
but no, I feel like you can keep that sense of like amazement and wonder, like how you were talking, like, wow, like this is the life you can build, and it's like, and you should always be like that, and I don't think you're going to lose that just because people around you are dying or things that are happening. You don't have to lose it.
You have to water that, though. Like that garden of amazement.
You have to be like resilient in a sense of just like to take on whatever's coming at you and just be resilient and just
exactly, that's what college does for you. It teaches you how to go through those hard things and make it out alive, you know?
Exactly, because you're on your own in a sense. That's the nice thing is, like, a lot of times, you know, when you do have your parents still backing you, you're not completely on your own yet. But you are, like, I think that's what really helps get you ready for the real world, because you're slowly entering it. You're not just being like, there you go.
Bye. Yeah, and I feel like if people aren't prepped, it can be like a real, like, crash and burn kind of experience if they're not, like, they don't know how to do their own laundry, or like go to the bank and do their bank account stuff.
Or you just marry someone and have them do your laundry for you.
Yeah, that was a reference to a previous episode. I actually do a lot of his laundry, but he does all the dishes. So.
See, that's like Joel does not know how to do laundry.
Joel Miller, get up on that laundry game.
I always complain about this. So I'm like, I get phone calls. Madison, how do I do laundry?
Oh, poor Joel.
And then he's calling his mom too about like, do I do this on hot or cold? Just, we were separating clothes, and he's like, is this in the? He goes, is this going white? To tell him, like, is that a white color? No.
Use your eyes.
That's what I say.
Joel.
Okay, I'm done.
That's like I've said to Dan before. Use your words. And I'm like, I sound like a child. But it's like, just tell me what you're feeling. Use your words. It sounds insulting, but it's not. I hope it's not an insulting way.
And when they try to find stuff, they can't find stuff, and I get so mad because I'm like, it's right in front of me. I'm like, use your eyes.
Oh, the teacher Madison comes out. Okay, so It's Leah James, she asked, did any of you struggle to define yourself and your purpose without school? It seems that after 17 years of being in school, that it is going to be an odd transition. My life has revolved around being a student, and then bam. Thanks, guys. Wow. I thought that was an interesting question.
That's a good question.
When I became homeschooled, I left, I was at private school around like 12 or 13. And I remember I went through this weird phase all of a sudden where it was like, I wasn't with my friends every single day. And so all of a sudden I felt like lonely, and not from like, I would still do after school activities. Like I was in dance classes and acting and singing and all of that. But it was like, I just wasn't in a situation of seeing people every single day. And I remember my mom saying to me, she was like, what you're experiencing now is what most people experience either after high school or after college, where like they're not thrown into social situations every single day. She's like, they have to make things happen. They have to set things up. And she's like, you're just dealing with it now, so start practicing. And so, I mean, that's not really the same as like school and defining yourself by it. But the answer to that, or my thought was that I would imagine that there is definitely a transition period of like, you're not in school anymore. You're not showing up to write papers and listen to a lecture. It's like a different routine. But I feel like that's life, going in and out of routines.
And you take on a lot more responsibilities in a sense, I feel like, after school, if you're on your own, because if you don't pay the bills, you're not going to be able to have lights on, you're not going to eat.
We have a lot of lights on right now, speaking of which, you guys can't see it, but...
Getting a job in school, that might allow you to kind of go into more of the business side of thing and kind of slowly like transition there. You know, take a little bit at a time. If you're really like struggling with that, I think that's the best thing. And especially, I mean, like that's another question is, have you ever had a job before? You know, that's where that comes from too.
No, I think like, okay, so when you graduate college or when you're done with school, I think it's okay to, you literally get out of school and you want to lay in bed for 3 weeks and not do anything, do it, because it doesn't matter. You don't have to be pressured.
Go for it.
Please do
Yeah.
it.
But don't stay in it, because then you're not going to.
That's another thing. It's really hard for people. That's why it's also hard for people who say, oh, I'm going to put off college for a year type of thing. And it's hard to get back into it. Sometimes they never go back. Yeah. Because you get, because a lot of them too, with career-wise, is you start making money and then you're like, wait, if I'm already making this money, why do I go get the job?
Yeah.
And it's true because
That's exactly true.
I felt like so many people think that they have to have a degree to get a good job. And that's how I felt. Like I truly thought that, and then now seeing with YouTube and how there's so many different career opportunities it's, that you don't need a degree in. Like it just all depends on you and how hard you work.
So I mean, so that's, like, I guess that's a good one. Like focus on your
find
skills.
out what you like besides school.
Yeah.
Look for that.
But like that's what she's saying. She's
like,
trying to figure out what that is because she doesn't even know.
I think that bounces back to what we said originally. Just experiment. And if you have an inkling towards something, like sometimes I think we're all looking for our passion. It's like, what's my passion?
And we're all going to have different routes.
But like, how do you know? If you don't just like experiment in things that you like I like this, I'm gonna dabble in it. Literally, my phone has been blowing up this entire freaking T-Talk. I'm getting so many calls and texts. Stop. Anyways, I think that that's how you find it. I think you dabble in things that you enjoy and you take the pressure off of a passion. And I think you eventually find it. It's like, I like this. I'm gonna try it.
That's true, and it's so great because we're getting so many different like perceptions. Like everyone's had a different route in life. Like there's you, it was homeschooled, and
barely educated. I was educated. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm not trying to insult you.
Different route, and like that's where you grow your experience and you see how you you became successful and everything. And everyone takes different routes. And then you have us. We went to college. You went right to YouTube after college. I had a little bit of a career, and then I found YouTube. And then now she's taking a little bit of a break from college.
Like I'm in that.
Yeah, she's trying to find herself.
Yeah.
And that's what's just awesome about this. I love having different people with different perspectives on life because it really opens my eyes to everyone else's, and it's not just me.
I know. I love it too.
Like I was gonna say what she said. Like I'm in that spot. Like get a job. Like you'll meet other people and you'll learn what they're doing. That'll give you ideas to try other things. Like I don't know.
Yeah, like taking the pressure off and just following your like
just like relax a little bit. You know, see. I mean, she could still go back to school. She could be a teacher or something. Since obviously that was her whole life. You know,
that's true.
Maybe something like that. You know?
That makes sense.
That's a really good point.
That's a good
Then
point.
know that you might be going into a career that needs a lot of education.
Because obviously she's passionate about it. You know,
you're passionate being in that school environment.
Or she could also
look at you with the
be a mentor to tell people to go to school and like why she loved it. Like,
look at
them,
you.
Because it's true.
Yeah, but it didn't even occur to me. That's such a good point.
I kind of forgot what the question was.
No, you circled back on that question. You did it, girl. So
that was a good.
That was really good, and I feel like that's like the perfect place to close this tea talk. So we had fun, guys. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Oh, my cups. People keep asking if they're for sale. They are for sale. Oh, we all. So that's pretty much it, guys. We'll see you soon. Have a great day.